All right, we live. Let's see. Welcome to the live. Can anyone hear me? Let's see here. Oh, what's up, working hands? Oh, what's up, bro? Park live, pack live. My number one fan. What's up, bro? I'll wait till a few more people get in here. Oh, what's going on? Frugal prepper. How's that pressure transducer coming, man? What's popping, Jose? Oh, oh, I'm down the street from you for real. Where do you live at, man? You live in? I didn't even know you lived in Sac. Yeah, that last video. What'd you think of that last video, Working Hands? Appreciate that, Jose. I know a lot of people probably wasn't gonna like that video, man, but I just gotta be true to who I am and just give you my honest opinion. And I can't just, you know, do whatever everybody else is doing. Um, that's just not how I am. So that's just how I felt about it. And to me, it just seemed like just like a bootleg product. Appreciate that, Working Hands. Yeah, I mean, I didn't fabricate nothing. It's not like I was lying on Harbor Freight or anything like that. I know a lot of people try to compare it to like a product rebranding, but product rebranding and cloning an item is like two totally different things. Because in the business world, product rebranding, both parties benefit. So the person who actually produced the tool, let's say a Porter Cable, will make stuff for craftsmen. So you'll have Porter Cable who may build an impact gun for craftsmen. Well, Porter Cable makes money and craftsman makes money. When you clone someone's product, only that company that's cloning that product makes money, and it hurts the other company. So it's not product rebranding. It's knockoff, like buying like a fake like Gucci purse or something like that. You know. Travis Hernandez, what's up, Brian? Checking in from India. Wow, are you traveling out there? You live out there, or man? If you're from the states, man, have a safe trip back and be careful out there. Who cares though? That's right, Lee. Oh man. Oh, Boone Automotive. What's good, brother? I'm glad you could check in, man. What's up, Francisco? Man. So what's the general consensus about the icon stuff? Is it a joke or is it the real deal, or nobody cares? Because it seemed like that's just the way things are now. And I got a lot of comments of people saying, "So what if someone copied your product and sold it cheaper?" I'm like, WTF? Is that the kind of world we live in now? It's okay to just copy somebody's stuff and 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 profit off of somebody else like that? So anyway, what's going on with you guys? Oh yeah, I got the little throwback phone. It works too. The little rotary dial. It works too. I never use my landline anyway, but it does work. Every now and then somebody will call with the wrong number. Let's see. I got by. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened. Um, so I mean, I did get a lot of people who understood. A lot of people didn't understand the video. Some people thought that what that video was me trying to like um, push or promote Snap on. If any of you guys know me, I'm not like a strong advocate for Snap on either. Their stuff's ridiculously expensive. So that's not what that video was about. That video was about Snap. I mean, that video was about Harbor Freight and Harbor Freight only. It wasn't endorsing another company or anything like that. Have I done any water pumps on a Ford Fusion, the chain driven water pump that's down in the engine? Uh, Man, I've worked on so many cars, man. I used to be in the trenches, man, just busting cars out left and right. I don't have to do it as much anymore, but I can't remember. I know the Ford Fusion, is that a four banger? I believe it's a four banger. Same motor they put in those like Ford Transits, those little vans. I can't remember, but I've done, chain driven water pumps a ton. Chrysler uses them on a lot of their vehicles. Oh, you want to see Bear? There he is. Ugh. There it is. Oh, there it is. Yeah. It's the real star of the show right here. All right. All right. All right. You don't smell clean right now. Smell like a foot. Thanks, bro. Appreciate that. Let's see. Brad's workbench. I reviewed the ratchet and it's good. Well, amazing. Already so many other companies are putting out stuff just as good. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree with Brad's workbench. There's here's my honest opinion. There was really no reason for Harbor Freight to have to make a clone product. They didn't have to do that, man. Everybody loves Harbor Freight's Pittsburgh jacks, their jack stands, the shop cranes, their engine stands, and some of the central pneumatic stuff. Like they didn't really have to do that. We was already riding with Harbor Freight, the U.S. General toolboxes, the tool carts. Who doesn't have a Pittsburgh jack or a Pittsburgh cherry picker? You know what I mean? There was really no need for them to go there. Business is going fine. Let's see. Yeah, the Pittsburgh Pro was legit. For them to scrap the Pittsburgh Pro and bring the icon out, I didn't understand that. I really didn't. They should have just like maxed out the Pittsburgh Pro line and like been true to like their own staple brand, because Pittsburgh has been like a staple brand of Harbor Freight for years, man. And they should have used that particular brand that we all know and sort of come to trust. We get up under our cars on Pittsburgh jack stands all the time, and they should have expounded on that instead of like creating a fake Snap-on. It made no sense to me. Yeah, I agree. It is way too pricey. Especially for Icon to just come out of nowhere and ask for that kind of price. Get out of here. Yeah, Tech Town for sure. But yeah, to come out of nowhere and just ask for those type of prices, and to be honest with you, if you were to buy um, an Icon toolbox or any of that stuff, the way they scrap Pittsburgh Pro and just drop Icon, that lets you know they'll just drop Icon and put something else out, and then you're stuck with a line that's like no longer around. I mean that's the way it looks. You know, it looks risky. Yeah. Frugal Prepper says there was plenty they could have done with Pittsburgh, like stop skipping sizes and yeah, and selling singles. No, no kidding, no kidding. Stop skipping sizes. Put out more complete sets. Use a little bit better ratcheting mechanisms. Make it a little more durable, and really like blow out the logo. Really like redesign the way the logo looks. They could have just started putting a P on stuff instead of writing out Pittsburgh and made some different design with it. That would have got them way more notoriety. I think they need a better marketing team. Yeah, you notice, hey Lee, you noticed on the sockets, they feel flimsy, don't they? That's not just me. I literally held up some of my other sockets and held up some of the Tecton, or not the Tecton, but the Icon sockets. They feel kind of flimsy. They feel, yeah, they do feel like that. Yeah, introduce more products into the Pittsburgh line, like Frugal Prep was talking about. Maybe add some e-torques, some triple squares. Yeah, man. Like stuff that we really use, especially on modern cars. I mean, you're gonna be removing like the e-torque bolts for sure, and Torx heads and everything else. Yep, Quinn too, man. Quinn is trash too. and, man, and I just don't like how they just knocking stuff off. I don't feel like they had to do that. In Harbor Freight's defense, I think they underestimated themselves. I don't think they had to do that. I was already like um, a supporter of Harbor Freight. Who hasn't gone in there in a gym and picked up something? Thank God that that's there for us. Because what if they weren't there for you to pick up a tool in a jam? They really underestimated themselves, I think. And I think they felt like they had to be like Snap On. That's just one brand. You don't have to be like Snap On. You got Mac, Cornwell, Maco, Right Tool, SK, Craftsman. There's so many tool lines. You don't have to be like just that one. I got guys that I used to work with back at the dealership who didn't like Snap-on ratchets. They thought the heads on them were too big. Kid you not. And they would prefer a different brand ratchet. They would use Snap-on other stuff like screwdrivers and things, but I knew some guys who wouldn't buy Snap-on ratchets because they thought the heads were too big. Anyone owns any Sonic tools? I never owned any Sonic tools, to be honest with you. I don't even know where to buy them. Yeah, Genius too. I own a lot of Genius, Lee. Genius Tools is good too. That's a company that's like overlooked and highly like overlooked for real. Because some of their stuff is like pretty decent quality, man. Yeah. Let's see. If it's Pittsburgh, then it has a life, then it has a warranty. Everything else doesn't. So you could say that they wanted to kill all lifetime warranties. That's a possibility for sure. But if you think about it, if everything is warranted, why even spend the money on an icon if they'll just, you know, exchange it out for another tool? Just buy the cheapest thing they got. If you break it, go get another one. Why even invest in the icon? For sure. Said Frugal Prepper says, I think since they knocked off the snap-on jack with Daytona, they decided they could follow that path. Yeah, and I'm glad you said that because I had a lot of people in there say, well, they took them to court and they lost, so it's okay now. Like, or they would say like, well, in it was manufactured in the same manufacturing plant, and Harbor Freight is having it manufactured at the same place Snap-on is, so it's not really stealing it. It's just, hey, make ours yellow, make theirs red, put Daytona on ours, put Snap-on on theirs. But it's really more to it than that because Snap-on, I've seen those jacks long time ago. They've been using those jacks for a long time, and Harbor Freight caught wind of that and probably did some investigating and figured out they could probably get those same jacks made for cheaper. And that was a whole marketing ploy. So, yeah, it was a copy. And people say, like, well, they won in court. You know what? There's a lot of loopholes in laws. For example, the icon, the way they got it spelled the ICON, icon. And then Snap-on has an icon line too, but it's spelled IQON, like Iquan, if you will, but it's icon. So that's a loophole right there. So Snap-on technically can't sue them for stealing the name. That's called knockoff. Jesus Christ. That's like me, like making video games. Instead of putting Xbox, I put Qbox on it and make it look just like an Xbox, but I put Qbox on it. You all know who I stole it from, but I couldn't sue them if I owned Xbox because it says Qbox. That's called a loophole. Anyway, man, so I got kind of took a little flack on that video. I mean, but I did get more likes than I did dislikes. It is cheesy, man. And here's the thing, guys. Like, I made plenty of videos, man. I was riding with Harbor Freight. I really was. But come on, man. Look, icon, and you stole Snap-on's icon where they had a Q. Look at this. You see where they put the, it has the part number right here. Look at this switch. Tell me that's not a Snap-on switch. It's a Snap-on switch. Looks just like the Snap-on, except for the handle is ridiculously large. But other than that, looks like a Snap-on. I mean, that's pretty obvious. Duralast makes better tools. Yeah. Man, I got sockets from not Harbor Freight, but AutoZone that I bought back in like 2001, 2000. And I still got them. Duralast. You know what? Duralast used to have some real nice ratcheting wrenches, man. And it was like this weird textured material on the ratchet wrenches, and they stopped making them. Man, I used to love those things. Make me want to run in my garage and grab one. I think I got one here. Sunx over Icon, Jose Jr. said. Yeah. I mean, Sunx got way more stuff. I mean, they got like better they got, a legit lineup, first of all. Thank you. Frugal Prepper, I wish there was a microphone on here so you could say that out loud. This is what Frugal Prepper said. He says, the thing is, I'm too cheap to buy Snap-on. I don't go to Harbor Freight to get Snap-on stuff. I go to get cheap stuff that will be good enough. And that was their lane. That was, exactly. That was their lane. They had that lane sold up. They had a corner of the market, in my opinion, that no one else had in the tool business. And I feel like they're trying to step into like a different lane when that's not really necessary. Yeah. I know when I go to Harbor Freight, I'm not looking to get the best quality anything. Like, excuse me, I had to put a rear glass, and you guys know I'm not a glass guy. I don't claim to be, but I had to put a rear glass into the back of a Jeep. I used to have what was it? It was like a 98 Jeep Cherokee. It was when they had like the 5.3s in them, I think. And someone bust out the back of my glass. Still don't know who did that. But I had to buy a tool. Any of you guys who do glass know there's like a tool that you stick it in there and you cut all that window well out. And man, I don't do windshields. You think I want to go and spend all that money on like window tools? I went to Harbor Freight, got a cheap one, went to the junkyard, cut me a glass out, glued my window back in, and I was good. And I was happy that option was there. I wasn't going to Harbor Freight looking for a Snap-on quality window cutting tool, if that makes any sense. You'll still be able to get the cheap stuff, but they'll also have the professional. Yeah, but I don't think, like Frugal Prepper was saying, no one's really going in there looking for professional stuff though. Because honestly, when I was like working at the dealership and when I worked at some of the independent shops, I never went out for tools. No, none of the guys ever went out for tools. We only really bought off the truck because back then the auto industry was a lot different. It used to be extremely busy. You could leave one shop and go walk into another shop and start the next day. And so it was like one day the Mack truck comes, the Snap-on truck comes, Cornwell truck. We used to even have guys just pulling up in vans, selling stuff out of vans. And I used to buy stuff off of those guys too. So no like professional that's busy, especially like when I was running my shop, I couldn't close my shop down and like just go to Harbor Freight and buy some professional tools. I couldn't do it. I mean, I could go after work, but a tool truck coming to the shop would, save you a lot of time. So a lot of guys, it's not really leaving the shop to go look for tools, if that makes any sense. So, they're going to want the truck to come and sell it to them so they don't have to leave. A Pittsburgh Pro van. Tools sell. That might not be a bad idea, Brad. Tools sell. But you better stock it with more than Pittsburgh Pro. Man, it's hot in here. Hold on, guys. I'm going to cut my fan on. Ugh. There we go. Sorry about that. It just got too hot. Harbor Freight needs some Icon tool trucks. They'll never do that, and they'll probably get laughed out of the tool truck game. No one's gonna buy that. Now I haven't talked to Leak in a while. Last time I talked to Leak, I had sent him a gift for his baby that was born recently. I just mailed him a gift. But now we haven't talked in a while. Leak, if you're watching this, man, hit me up. I think you got my number. Now you got my email. uh, that's funny. Hey, that's a good point, Jose. I'll go with Blue Point because Blue Point has been around. I know like I could probably get a rebuild kit, or if I had a Blue Point something, I could probably get parts for it. I know Snap-on's not gonna just scrap Blue Point and just make a new line. All right, Brad. Thanks for stopping by, man. What you looking at, Bear? What's what's new, man? Other than that, what's new? Anybody working on any projects right now? Any automotive projects? Yeah, he's a big boy. He's a bully, an XL bully. A little bit different than a pit bull. He looks like one, but they're a little bit different. They don't behave like pit bulls. It's more. He behaves more like a. You know what a Carney Carso is? If you're not familiar with that dog, you can look up a Carney Carso. They behave like that. It's in the Mastiff family. You want my dog? He be pissing me off sometimes. I be ready to give him away. Yeah, that's a problem with a lot of people, frugal prepper. It's just because that's their business model. Snap-on really, they franchise out and they like to sell their tools to you, the business owner, instead of relying on selling to the consumer. Whereas Harbor Freight or companies like that, they sell to the consumer. Technically, Snap-on sells to businesses. They don't really sell to consumers technically, because if you get a Snap-on franchise and then they supply you, the franchisee, with their products, and then you go sell them, which I don't necessarily like that business model, but it's worked for them. Did you go over the video title yet? What do you mean? Jeff said his drum brakes went out on the 72 Dart. I'm trying to figure out how to switch it to disc brakes. That's not hard, Jeff. Just buy go to like Summit or something like that, and buy the like a conversion kit, and everything you need is gonna be in the kit, and it should have like detailed instructions for the Dart, the 72 Dart, on like anything you might have to modify or change. But I've changed over drums to disc before on an El Camino, and it wasn't that bad. Zach, what's your opinion on the Icon ratchet? It's no different from a Pittsburgh Pro ratchet. That's my opinion. This is a Pittsburgh Pro ratchet. They just changed the handle to look like a Snap-on handle. They made the grip bulkier, and they put a part number right here. It's the same ratchet. Is it worth getting? No, it's not worth getting. It's really not. If you're gonna buy a cheap ratchet, you get a Tekton ratchet, or if you don't get a gear wrench ratchet, Yeah, Zach. Get a gear wrench ratchet. I would recommend Tekton or gear wrench. If you want a ratchet like similar like this, get a gear wrench or a Tekton ratchet. I wouldn't waste my money on the Icon or the Pittsburgh Pro ratchet. I'd rather have the Pittsburgh Pro ratchet. At least the handle is not ginormous. Working hands, what you working on? A Benz transmission replacement tomorrow. '07 R350. Is that rear wheel drive? Hey, me too. Icon seems like a joke to me, and I'm a long time Harbor Freight. Me too, man. Same here. I've been using Harbor Freight forever. I'm not gonna sit here and say I don't have Harbor Freight jacks. I don't have Harbor Freight shop cranes. I don't have Harbor Freight jack stands. That was the staple stuff you go to Harbor Freight for. My jack went out, I need a new jack. The first thing that popped into your head is Harbor Freight. I need a shop crane. I'm about to pull a motor. Harbor Freight. Things like that. Um, that those staple items were like there for everybody. Even like cheap air compressors, things like that. But Icon is a joke. It really is. And like I said, I didn't have nothing against. I still don't really necessarily have nothing against Harbor Freight. I'm just calling a spade a spade. Is that Gary R? Is that a pit bull knockoff? Uh, how should I word it? No, it wouldn't be a pit bull knockoff. It would be a designer pit bull. So that's what it is. It's the real deal, but it's golden encrusted and made luxury. Good one, Ken. Good one. Ken said, I just talked to Harbor Freight. They might sponsor you. They're not going to want to sponsor me now. That's funny. Hey, man, did you check out the Tekton booth? They said they was going to run some video of mine. And I was wondering if they did. Yeah, Zach, man. I just don't think it was necessary for them to like knock off other brands. I mean, they didn't have to do that. They underestimated their following. They should, like I said, they should have maximized what they had. The Central Pneumatic, the Pittsburgh. What's another line? The Earthquake. The Earthquake is kind of their own creation. I give them that. But then it came out with the knockoff stuff like the Hercules and the Bauer and all that stuff. Just stick with the Earthquake and make all that stuff you make in Bauer and Hercules, make it in the Earthquake line, have your own stuff. And then in the Pittsburgh Pro and the Central Pneumatic, maximize that stuff, create a cool new logo for the Pittsburgh Pro, make a big P or something, or like maybe a P leaning, like it's speeding, going fast with, dust or something coming behind it. I don't know. Just you could have made something cool that was already Pittsburgh and make that your upper echelon, or just the Pittsburgh Pro. That's it. That's the Pittsburgh Pro. We got a whole line of the Pittsburgh Pro, and then we got our regular Pittsburgh stuff. I don't think they had to like copy like that. You looked at the Tekton booth and didn't see any of my videos. That's a bummer. Um, hey Ken, you said you talked to one of the engineers at Harbor Freight. What was that conversation like? I know there's only so much you're willing to type, but give us a little bit. Yeah. Here's the thing about buying cheap tools. They're okay at first. There's nothing wrong with buying cheap tools. They will work for you, but they won't work for a long time. That's the cheaper the tool, the least amount of time you have with it. The cheapest of tools like a one-time user, you know. Mr. B. Hey, DIY Misfit Mechanic. What's going on, brother? Hey, did those tools reach your neck of the woods? I'd have to agree with Mr. B. I don't know that they have engineers. It doesn't seem like they do any like research and development. It looks like they just sort of like see what everybody else is buying, and then they just do that. Oh, you got it. You got it. One thing I wanted to mention, some idiot jumped on my channel and thought that video was because Harbor Freight didn't give me anything. So let me just say that if you're watching that, slap yourself. But anyway, if Harbor Freight would have gave me anything, I would have just did a giveaway anyway. I really don't have room for that big icon box. I got toolboxes, man. I got a lot of stuff. I don't need no more stuff. Everyone at Harbor Freight booth was American, not one Chinese person. You know, everybody in my house is American too, but most of my products is probably come from China. Frugal prepper, man, you killing me, man. That's funny. DIY Misfit, man. You got any high performance projects coming up? Justin, how's the car dealing business going? Man, the DMV is annoying, man. And they're so greedy. Sure. But other than that, it's fine. It seemed like every car I sell, the DMV send me some paperwork saying I owe a little bit more money in fees. Jesus. And it's like, man, you really sent me a letter saying like that I owe you $6 more? Get out of here. Yeah, I sell cars. I got out of just wrenching. Man, guys, I wrenched for a long time, man. You guys, every day, long hours, in and out. I wrenched for a long time. And, you know, now I'm selling cars. Who wants to put a 383 in his fireplace into my bureau so you can build it? That sounds very ambitious, DIY Misfit. Yeah, no, I got a car lot. You haven't seen any of my videos, or I show my new place. Yeah, it would be called retail, not a car lot. So it would be wholesale or retail. So yeah, it's a retail. Wholesale, you can only sell to another dealer. So let's say if I wanted to be a wholesaler, I can just go and like go to the auctions and just like compile vehicles, if you will. And then let's say you're a retail dealer and you don't want to go to the auction, you don't want to hunt for more inventory. You could just be like, hey, Brian, what you got? And you know, you can come and look at the stuff I got, and then you just buy from me. But retail is selling to the public. So I'm retail. Yeah, retail. Man, you got a small black Chevy in that Fiero. Wow. I think people, yeah, I might have seen a video of a guy trying to do that on YouTube. Put a 350 small block in a little Fiero. Entire dealership thing is a scam. Nah, I'm not a scam. I'm pretty straight up, you know. New car dealerships, that's another story. But all the cars I sell are used cars. Every now and then I get a nice one owner car, but I don't gouge anybody or I don't tell you anything about the car that's not true. I tell you everything that's wrong with it. But being that like I'm a long time ASC certified mechanic, I do all the repairs myself. So it's in pretty good shape when you get it. Besides, I can't make money if the cars keep coming back. Not that I'll let you, it's as is anyway, but still, you don't want to develop that reputation. And my reputation at my auto repair business was impeccable. So, that's the only way I roll. All right, Zach, man. Thanks for stopping by. We got 23 people in this chat, 24 now. So am I the only honest dealer? I don't know. I don't know. Probably. All right, working hands, man. All right, thanks for stopping by. And, knock out that Mercedes, man. I think those rear-wheel drive Mercedes ain't too bad, though. I pulled a rear-wheel drive Mercedes transmission out before. I don't think it's too bad. Just move the exhaust out the way, drop the drive shaft, and it's pretty much home free from there. But yeah, anyway, thanks for stopping by. Right on, right on. Date night with the wife. I still gotta figure out where you live. You are, Pack live. You in Sacramento, man? We might have to hook up, man, and go have a beer or something. You know, since you like bear so much, man, we could go to the park, throw the ball with bear, let him jump on you and knock you over. Oh, you're in the Modesto. Yeah, that's still not too far. Somebody said, "What's my least favorite car to work on?" Probably like Cadillacs, like Cadillac CTS. I hate those cars. Um, yeah, probably Cadillacs. I hate all Cadillacs. The newer Grand Cherokees are Mercedes trans. Hey, Chrysler has always used Mercedes parts. You like some like Mercedes, like SLK, I believe it is. I'm not sure, but don't quote me on that. But I think it's the same as like a Pontiac Crossfire. So, hey, you got my email? Just email me, and I'll get with you on that. Go to my YouTube page and go to the About section. My email is there, and I'll link up with you like that. Oh, Michael Patrick said, first time checking out your channel. Thanks for keeping it real. Hey, I don't know how to be any other way, man. You know, do I hate pink Cadillacs, especially pink Cadillacs? Right on, bro. I'll talk to you later. Man, you bought an Equinox? Man, you brave. I would never buy one of those. And you know how many transmissions I've replaced on those. And of course, it's GM. You got to drop the whole power plant to do anything. I personally hate any Gen 1 OBD car. Yeah, me too. Like some of them, you have to like jump 2 terminals just to count some flashes, and then you got to do it again just to make sure. Hey, did I count these flashes right? Let me double check and recount these flashes. Yeah, Gen 1 OBD 1 sucks for sure. Let's all be thankful for OBD 2. See, I love my Equinox. It's got a Yoda Trans and the 3.4. It doesn't get any better. Right on, Frugal Pepper. I got math anxiety. Counting flash. No kidding. Those flashes, counting those flashes. I'd always get in there, man, and jump the 2 terminals, follow the whatever. And some Toyotas, I believe you gotta like, uh, you'd have to like jump 2 terminals and then like, I don't know, then go and jump another 2 terminals. I can't remember what you used to do. Oh no, you'd have to the same 2 terminals you jump to get the check engine light to spit out the trouble code. Those are the same terminals you'd have to jump to make distributor adjustments for ignition timing. Man, I used to hate that. When I first started, we still had to deal with ignition timing back in like the early 2000s. Man, I remember that jumping the terminals just to get your distributor adjusted to get the timing set. But you'd be in there with your notepad, man, and like, all right, that was 2 flashes. All right, that was one. That's code 21. I used to hate doing that. That's true. That's true. DIY Misfit said you got to get Mopar props for the key thing, where you cycle the key back and forth like 4 times, and you don't have to jump the terminals. Chris Ice, what's up, brother? He says, what's your thoughts on the Autel MS906BT? I'm looking for a scanner. You know what? I got mixed feelings about Autel. It is a good scanner. Don't get me wrong, but the thing about scanners, man, is it's hard to have one scanner because this Autel scanner may be really good in one area, one specific area, but it may suck in another area. Like my Autel scanner is really good with programming keys. It's really good if I want to graph out uh, a particular problem, like I want to graph out a voltage signal to be able to see if I get like any type of voltage drop off or anything like that. It's really good. But if I want to like use it as a bidirectional control to say like activate a vent valve or something like that to see if my vent valve is working, or activate some type of solenoid like on like a BMW that may have you know multiple like vacuum solenoids for their intakes. You can't, it has terrible bidirectional control, so I'll have to end up getting another scanner just for the bidirectional control. So with Autel, to me it's like hit and miss. They do have good features like key programming and stuff like that, but on the diagnostic side, man, I think it's just like okay, just like so. To be honest with you, to me, I think some of the higher end launch scan tools are probably the best, in my opinion, as far as being able to do everything. But you probably won't get away with just one scan tool, depending on if you like really diagnosing vehicles all the time. You gonna have to have multiple ones. I hate Mopar, but I do like the key cycle. Yeah, me too. You got it, Chris. I know that was a handful. I know that was a handful, man, but it's a good scan tool. You'll be all right. It's a good scan tool. PC laptop is the best scan tool. Yeah, I mean they're all computers. That's all it is. It's just a scan tool can only do one thing, whereas the PC laptop is a computer that can do multiple things. But they're all basically just computers. You got see something may have got past me on some of the projects that was going on. Man, I don't got no projects going on right now. I always like to keep a good project going. Yeah, I agree about the launch makes the best cheap heavy duty scanner. Yeah, I agree. I'd have to agree with that. Even some of their like little cheaper, like little handheld ones, you can still like check fuel trims on it. You can still get live data on it. You know what I mean? You can still check and see if the computer is in open or closed loop. Like some of those, even the little launch scan tools are pretty good. I'm gonna ask a question. Is it only me? Most of you guys on here work on cars. I don't know if any of you guys worked on them for a living for a long time, like I have. I assume a lot of you have. But being that I sell vehicles more than I work on them, and I really don't work on them nearly as much as I used to, like almost zero right now. And do you get where you like really miss it and you're like, man, I need like an engine swap to come in here or a head gasket job. I need to like wrench. Does anybody feel like that or is that just me? Because in the used car business, man, it'd be like little stuff, man, like TPS sensors. You know what I mean? Like check engine light is on for a catalytic converter. DIY misfits that laugh out loud. That's just you. That's cold, man. That's just me. But yeah, I get like that sometimes, man, where I just miss it. This is what everybody want. That's what everybody want, right? I know I got a lot of new. I got a lot of new subscribers to my channel. I notice I get a lot of new people that I didn't have before. Chris said he love wrenching and selling. Yeah, I guess me too. I don't know. I used to like I'm up in the air with it because I get where I miss it, and then when I start doing it, and I'm like, all right, I'm done. But I've always never really minded the work because my shop, all we did was major engine repairs. That's what we was known for, and like that, all of the majority of the calls that we got was for overheats, engine replacements, like cracked, blown cylinder head warpage issues, like just like major engine overhauls. And that's what we was just cranking out major overhauls left and right. You love working on your 2002 Saturn SL. You might be the only one, Russ. I hate working on Saturn, especially those Saturn, the V6 Saturns. Nah, I'll pass on that. My kids would have to be starving for me to work on that. No kidding. I restore old cars as a hobby. Don't do it for a living. Who in here said there was an HVAC guy? You know, I get a lot of HVAC guys on my channel, believe it or not. I think a lot of HVAC guys are uh, watch car repair videos. But I guess it goes the same way because I watch a lot of handyman videos. And even on projects that I'm not working on around the house, I'll watch handyman do stuff. I guess, just to learn how to do it if I ever have to do it. But sometimes it's just entertaining. Good one, frugal prepper. Don't they? Don't Harbor Freight have a scan tool out? I'm not sure. I think they do have a scan tool that they're claiming is like a powerful scan tool. Yeah, I just looked it up. Yeah, they do. What's going on, Twiz? Welcome to the live. Appreciate you stopping in. You know that the live just started when you tap in. Yeah, DIY misfit. I would never spend $1,000 on a scan tool from Harbor Freight. I mean, that goes back to what I was saying, man. Like, Harbor Freight is a synonym for inexpensive. No one wants to go to Harbor Freight and spend that kind of money. I don't. I'm looking for cheap stuff in Harbor Freight. When I'm ready to find some cheap stuff, I go to Harbor Freight. That's what I look through the coupon books. I go through all the stuff and I find deals on stuff. And I go because I don't want to spend a lot of money on some stuff. I certainly don't want to go and start buying fake Snap on from Harbor Freight. That's ridiculous. Twiz, what you working on these days, man? You got any projects going? My tools don't make me money, so I buy cheap. That's another good reason right there not to spend a lot. I've made a ton of money with my tools, so I can't say that. And I've also spent a ton of money on tools too, so I don't know. Probably balanced out there. See, yeah, I got the two ATVs that I'm rebuilding, and I got a bathroom that I'm working on. Man, I just finished my bathrooms up. I sweated some new pipes, some new copper pipes on there, got some new fixtures. My wife wanted different fixtures on there, and just got finished putting like the shower lining in there. Turned out pretty good, man. I was proud of myself. Oh, no heat calls. Man, I bet you making a lot of house calls right about now, Twiz. Starting to get cold. I don't know if it's cold yet in your neck of the woods, but in California, it's not really cold yet. I just might, Twiz, and show you my skill, man. I'm proud of it. I just might throw it in a video. Mr. B, that's funny. Icon verbs. You know what, though? Like, yeah. You see how ridiculous that sounds on that comment? The Mr. B put a icon, a verse, like a snap-on scan tool. As ridiculous as that sounds, that's just as ridiculous as this to me. A lot of people just don't see it. They just like, I don't know, they got mesmerized by all the hype. Yeah, it's cold enough. It's in the 30s. Woo! 20s at night now. So yeah, phone's been ringing. Okay. But you do heat. You do heat and AC, so you probably make money all year round. I'm pretty sure it gets hot over there too. Twiz, man, what you think about my video last night, yesterday? I know there's only so much you can type, but just what do you think about the video? Because some people took it like I was trying to endorse Snap-on or something like that. Nowhere in that video did I state I was endorsing anybody. That video was about Harbor Freight and Harbor Freight only. All right. If they were copying Craftsman, I would have called them out for copying Craftsman or cloning Gear Wrench, anybody. It just happened to be Snap on. Thank you, DIY Misfit Mechanic. Appreciate that for agreeing with me on that. And again, it's really not too bad. I wasn't really looking to like bash Harbor Freight. That's really wasn't my goal. Uh, a lot of people took it like that because I really felt like they had no need. Like there was no purpose for this. They didn't have to do this. We already was riding with Harbor Freight with the Pittsburgh Jacks, the U.S. General toolboxes, all the Pittsburgh cherry pickers and jack stands, all that stuff, man. There was really no need to copy Snap on. I think they really underestimated themselves. I still buy inexpensive tools too, DIY Misfit. I'm not buying cheap Harbor Freight or cheap Icon tools. No thanks. I'm not. Somebody said it earlier. I don't go into Harbor Freight to try to buy Snap-on stuff. I go to Harbor Freight because I'm looking for some cheap stuff. Pretty much, Twiz, man. I just don't know how to be any other way, man. I just call it how I see it. I just call it how I see it, man. It's been a lot of flack with the Icon line. Yeah, it has. I mean, I guess it's a toss up. Some people really like it, some people don't. I mean, they're not the worst tools you can buy. That my gripe is not with the quality. Uh, there's worse tools you can buy in that very store we're talking about. It's not the cheapest stuff, and it will get the job done. That's really wasn't my point. My point was this is basically a Pittsburgh Pro. It's the same tool. They just changed the name right here. They changed this switch and made it look like a Snap-on switch. Go look at your Snap-on switches or pull up another tab on your computer and tell me this ain't a Snap-on switch, which is different from other switches. Nobody has switches quite like this. This is a Snap-on switch. Also, they put the same part number right here where the ratchet bar and the handle meets, just like Snap-on. And that's a joke. What a joke. Yeah. A lot of people too were saying like it's just rebranding, it's just rebranding. And I talked about this earlier about the difference between cloning and rebranding. Rebranding, both parties benefit. So I made the example of how Craftsman is rebranded like Porter Cable. So if Porter Cable makes or Craftsman makes an impact gun, but it's really Porter Cable. Porter Cable makes money off of it, and Craftsman makes money off of it. But if Craftsman just bootlegs Porter Cable, or in this case, Harbor Freight just bootlegs Snap-on, it's not rebranding. It's a clone. Only one company benefits. That's Snap-on. Excuse me, that's Harbor Freight benefiting from the likeness of Snap-on. So it wasn't a rebranding, guys. You need to look, some of you guys know zero about business whatsoever. And yes, Harbor Freight does employ like a Japanese business model. Trust me on this. The way they sell products, believe me. And I'm not saying that I'm not opposed to buying stuff from China. I'm probably sitting on a chair that was made in China right now. We all buy Chinese products. I'm not saying I'm opposed to that, but all I'm saying is that's a reality of it. They do have that business model. I'm just stating the obvious. Yeah, I remember Twiz, you was telling me about those cobalts. And then, man, I was walking through Lowe's one night and I seen the Cobalt lineup. I was like, man, I messed up. I should have went with the Cobalt. All looks like their whole line is brushless too. Thanks for that little info right there. Shad Van said that Stanley Black and Decker makes both Porter Cable and Craftsman. They also make DeWalt. Okay, so in the comparison, so Craftsman. Oh, okay. So Craftsman make. So I'll just another example of rebranding. You guys understand if I have a company and I rebrand another product, what's happening is the company that makes that product, I'm basically buying their product and they're giving me a license to rebrand it. So they got money because I paid them for the product. So they got paid. And then because they gave me the license to put my brand on it, then I sell it retail and I make money. Everyone wins in a rebranding deal. That's why so many people rebrand. Everyone wins. But cloning, knocking off and bootlegging is something totally different. If someone clones your product, if I start printing a bunch of these Tekton shirts and I start selling them, Tekton doesn't get any money from that. If I find somebody to print this for me, or I buy a printer myself and I start pressing up Tekton shirts and selling, it gets popular, Tekton won't be happy about that. Quinn, is Cobalt, is that who they're trying to imitate? All right, good night, DIY Misfit. Take care. Thanks for stopping by, man. Let's see. It's 5:30 out here in California. It's probably later. I think the majority of you guys live back east, if I'm not mistaken. Because I remember I went live once and you guys was like, man, it's still daytime. I mean, it's dark now because it's winter time. So it gets dark around like 5:30. Detroit, shout out to Detroit, man. Somebody said the Quinn digital torque wrenches and the sockets are made by whoever makes the Cobalt label stuff. They're identical. Chris, you in Detroit too? I bet it's cold in Detroit, man. Oh, with the wildfires, yeah, I'm pretty used to it. I've been here my whole life. That's part of living in California. Wildfires. If you're not affected by it directly, then you're always affected by it indirectly because it's like the air quality gets bad. And a lot of people walk around with like a respirator or dust mask or whatever. But recently, we've been having a lot of windstorms, man. Like the power's been out from windstorms. Yeah, man, like bad wind. I went outside one night and it was bad. It was like 60, 70 mile an hour winds. A lot of power went out for people. I almost went to Harbor Freight and bought that knockoff Honda generator. Man, that HDX line from Home Depot is junk. Has anybody ever bought that and was highly disappointed? Yeah, I know, Twiz. I know. I already know. Because I'm thinking about buying one. I'm on a fence about it because Harbor Freight rubbed me the wrong way. But man, that price, ugh, that's how they get you, man. That's how they get you. They get just the price, you know. That's how they get everybody. That's why everybody in the comments defending them. No, Brian, they didn't clone them. If you want to shop there, just shop there, man. You don't got to tell me nothing. Man, Josh, I know, man. Jed said paying for junk. Yeah, in some cases, it is junk. Man, let me tell you, I bought a lot of stuff from Harbor Freight, and a lot of it is junk, man. I was really happy when they started putting out like more acceptable products like the jacks, the jack stands, the toolboxes. They was really starting to step it up and make the stuff more acceptable, but I don't know. They kind of lost me with this. They went way in left field trying to be Snap on. Come on. Yeah, Nick says Harbor Freight is great for tools to modify for specific jobs. I mean, so basically, Nick is saying like a tool that you could throw away. Basically, it is great for a tool that you could throw away. I wouldn't buy a, I wouldn't buy a great tool if I was gonna modify it. I got tons of modified Pittsburgh wrenches. Or I heat them up and bend them. Who said that about that generator? Was that Josh? He says I have one a nice big sign on from Harbor Freight. It's amazing. I know, Josh. Man, I'm debating it because I do want to get a generator from all of. Nick could tell you. Nick know about all the power outages that we had. Nick, did you get affected by the power outages? I didn't get affected by it in my neck of the woods, but we've been having a lot of power outages all throughout the whole state, from Southern Cal all the way to NorCal. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm in Sac County too, Nick. Yeah, that's probably why I didn't lose power. I'm smud too. I I got the Harbor Freight impact sockets as well, man. I actually, yeah, thankfully for real, Nick. Actually, I misspoke. I've had those sockets probably like 7 or 8 years by now, and I've never cracked one of those sockets. I've cracked every other socket you could think of. Just everyday use, hitting it with the impact. I never cracked one of those Pittsburgh sockets. That's why I was saying I don't know why they didn't just expand on the Pittsburgh stuff. Frugal Prepper made a point earlier where he was saying like instead of putting out the icon, why don't you just improve on Pittsburgh? Like make a complete set of impact sockets with no skips. Make a complete set of eTorques or torque sets, and just like max out the Pittsburgh line because some of that stuff it does work. Snap on brakes too, of course. I got some broken snap on stuff in my garage right now that I can't get warranty because I don't have a snap on guy anymore. I didn't buy the swivels. I don't know if those were any good. Hey, Nick, did you watch my video yesterday that I put out? Yeah, you know what? See, Harbor Freight, I don't know who they have on their marketing team, but check that video out, Nick, and you'll see more about what I'm talking about. But I think I don't know who they have marketing for them, but there was really a lot of space for them to create like more specialty stuff, like Nick said, and they could have kept their normal brands, Pittsburgh Pro, Central Pneumatic, U.S. General, all that stuff. But they should have there was room to make like eTorque sockets, torque sockets, complete sets, long wrenches, complete sets, stubby wrenches, complete sets, you know. Yeah. Tecton stuff is legit, man. And the thing about Tecton, aside from them, you know, paying me, they don't pay me a lot. Don't take that out of context. But aside from that, I was buying their stuff before they offered me their affiliate program. But I ripped on Tecton hard. They had some junk. Those ratchets were trash. Those pry bars were junk, man. They really were. But they improved on all that stuff. And they stuck with Tecton. They didn't try to be snap on. They scrapped the stuff that wasn't no good and they improved on Tecton stuff. They didn't just scrap the stuff that was no good and create something that looks just like Snap on or somebody else. I mean, come on, that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. I, Even actors are using more fast coupons look like. That's funny. Oh my God, do I agree? Watch my video, Nick. You'll see. Watch my video. Spoiler alert, you haven't seen my video, but I basically went into talking about financing Icon Toolbox. Get out of here. No one's financing an Icon Toolbox. We don't know you, Icon. You just got here. To ask that kind of money and you haven't even, we don't know if this is even going to be here 2 years from now. They scrapped Pittsburgh Pro and they came out with the Icon line. What makes you think they won't scrap Icon and come out with something else? And now you stuck with parts that you can't even get. I need new drawer slides. I need new casters. I need whatever for my expensive toolbox How do you know they won't just scrap Icon and come out with something else? Because Snap-on released something new and they trying to keep up. I mean, they just scrapped Pittsburgh Pro. What makes you think they won't scrap Icon? And then to ask that much money on something that's not really like, it hasn't been here long enough. Snap-on has been here a long time. Snap-on is not going anywhere. I'm sorry. Snap-on is very big. It's not going anywhere. You can always get Snap-on stuff. And other companies too. It don't have to be Snap-on. There's other toolboxes and stuff. Even Husky. Husky's been around a long time. I'll feel comfortable if I buy some Husky stuff. I know I can go to Home Depot and get a replacement or things like that. But with Icon, who knows? They might ditch that and it's something new tomorrow. Jed said Snap-on will always be the tool king. That's why Snap-on wants to go after them. Pretty much. What do you mean by that, Chris? Expound on that. Hey, that's the truth. You know, I bought even before they put the Icon out. That's why I was saying people thought I was salty because they didn't give me a toolbox, but I didn't have room for it because I bought Costco sells those storage solutions where you got toolboxes, cabinets, and all that stuff. I got that stuff for my shop. I don't have room for that Icon stuff. Plus, I got like 3 other toolboxes. I just really didn't have room for that stuff. I would have did a giveaway on it anyway. But Costco sometimes have like decent toolboxes too if you check them out. I think it's called New Age Products. That's what I bought. It's called New Age Products, something like that. uh, Keeping Pittsburgh, especially if they fail to launch Icon. I don't think Icon is going to do that well. It's like Nick was saying, you know, no one, they're charging way too much. No one wants to spend that much money on a product that just got here. You can't really, oh, Ghost Legs, what's going on, brother? You can't really like charge those kind of prices for a brand new item that's unproven just because you've seen a few videos online. I don't think it's a bad toolbox. I don't want to like give that impression. I think it is a decent toolbox. Don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of decent toolboxes out there. But to be asking like top of the market money and we really don't know you, so to speak, you know what I mean? And you can just buy a US General that's sitting right next to that Icon for way cheaper. It just doesn't make sense. I understand why Snap-on charges that much money. Through years and years, they have built their brand and their logo way up to the top of the food chain. So you got to pay good money just to have that logo. Just that logo is worth money because that's what you can do to a brand. You can build a brand up that high. It's perceived value, just like a pair of Nikes is probably made from the same factory as a pair of like cheap Walmart shoes, but it's the perceived value of the Nikes. And Snap-on has that high value on it. Icon, there is no value. So to ask for that just by copying someone else, I think is weird. Hold on, let me go up. I wanted to know what Chris thought about something. See, how's Harbor Freight handling warranties on refrigerators? Will Pittsburgh hand tools still be warranted with replacements? That's a good question. Will Pittsburgh hand tools still be warranted with replacements? They probably will for a while. Jed said it would be a good box for 25 or less. I agree with that. That's actually, yeah, that's that's a smart move. For 2,500, Jed, they would have sold a ton of them. But for what is it, 7, 8 grand? Like Twist said, I don't see them flying out of the stores anytime soon. No one's gonna open up credit and finance something like that. You're gonna find if you're gonna finance a toolbox, which personally I would never finance a toolbox. I would just buy one. If I don't have the money for a high dollar one, then I'm just not buying a high dollar one. I'm gonna go and buy what I can afford, but I'm not financing a toolbox. But if I was, it's gonna be a Snap one. Let's be honest. you know. Nick said he heard that a lot of Icon engineers that left Snap on and went to work to engineer for Harbor Freight. I can see that happening. Or maybe they offered those engineers at Snap on a little bit more money to come over to Harbor Freight, maybe. Jed said he's got a Craftsman from the 70s. My father-in-law got a lot of old Craftsman boxes that had to be from like the 70s. I never seen them, and they still holding up in good shape, man. Shad said he'd be willing to pay up to 35 on the Icon box. Any more than that, and I would look at a used Snap-on. Right, right. You know, if you're gonna be spending anything north of 3 grand, you might as well get something with better resale value. Icon has no resale value. If you drop 8 grand today on an Icon toolbox and you try to sell that next year, you're not gonna get nothing for that Icon toolbox. It has no value. Snap-on has value. It has resale value. Whether it's real or not, whether it's the same material, same everything, that doesn't matter. It's the perceived value. Yeah. Nick said the old school Craftsman is quality. It is. Man, I got a half inch, I got a long half-inch Craftsman. I've been busting head bolts with it for years. It's an old USA, old USA half inch. Man, I've been busting head bolts with that thing for years and lug nuts. Yeah, Icon doesn't have. There's no aftermarket value for Icon. I'm sorry. Do not waste your money on a product that if you turned around and you really needed to sell that, man, you're not gonna get nothing for that. If you were hard up for some cash, some unforeseen thing happened, and you need to sell some stuff to stay afloat, you're not gonna get nothing for that Icon. Come on. That Snap on, you'll get something for that Snap on. You'll be able to go and get you a ham sandwich. Jed said people is gonna be putting Snap on emblems to try to put on the icons to resell. But see, that just goes to show you that Snap on had they built their logo up. If you see that Snap on logo, immediately that's the best, you know. And but that wasn't an overnight thing. At one point, Snap on was like an icon or a Pittsburgh or whatever. But over the years, they built themselves up, you know, to that level. So they can ask those prices. They put the work in. Twist said his Craftsman is over 30 years old and it's been through hell and still fine. Man, I know my father in law got a couple Craftsman boxes like that. and he be working on his. I think he's got like a Harley Indian head or something like that motorcycle, big heavy bike, and he be working on it. And he got those. And he one of those. You know those old school guys got all USA Craftsman, man. Like back when Craftsman was legit. I'm fortunate enough to start, wrenching right around the time when I started wrenching, it still had USA on Craftsman stuff. So I'm fortunate enough to still have some of that stuff, and it is a difference. There's a huge difference between the USA made Craftsman stuff and, of course, the overseas made Craftsman stuff. And nothing against the overseas stuff, it still works, but it's just a different product than what it used to be. It's just ridiculous what Snap-on asks for their stuff. My old Craftsman hand tools have served my grandpa, my dad, and me just fine. Right on. Let's be honest though. All I use tools I like myself. That's true too. You're not gonna get the same value for a used tool as you would for a new tool. That's pretty obvious. But you're not gonna see no Icon or Pittsburgh Pro at a pawn shop. A someone who owns a pawn shop is not gonna give you anything for that tool. He may not even take the tool. But you could actually pawn Snap-on stuff because it has value, just like you can pawn some jewelry. Yeah, I got some Craftsman stuff, man. Craftsman stuff is good. The new Craftsmans are expensive, are they? I've been in Lowe's and I checked out. Coexist says the new Craftsmans are expensive. I don't think they're that expensive, are they? It looks like it's right around the same price as the old stuff. I mean, I could be wrong. Speaking of Stanley, how do you guys feel about Stanley tools? Stanley is one of those tool brands that's kind of like, they're not bad, but they're not that great either. I don't know. Stanley's high is overlooked a lot too. We don't use a lot of Stanley in automotive, but I do got some Stanley. What do you call it? Combination wrenches, and they're pretty good. They look just like Mac combination wrenches. It's probably the same wrenches. Oh, okay. They own Craftsman and Mac tools now. Yeah, man, these tool companies be absorbing other tool companies like crazy. Twist said he got a Stanley set, the SAE metric sockets 3/8 and the half-inch drive with some wrenches, and they work just fine. Yeah. See, that's the thing about Stanley. Like I have some combination wrenches, and I bought some sockets from Stanley that were really good from Walmart. Believe it or not, that it's a yellow case of some deep Stanley sockets, man. I bought those in the gym when I had got all my tools stolen at a shop that I worked at. And the shop owner didn't fire me, even though I didn't have no tools, but he gave me a certain amount of time to try to put something together and come back to work. He still paid me for the days that I wasn't there too, so that was cool. I think it took me about like 5 or 6 days to try to get some tools together. And, he still paid me like I showed up. And so that was cool of him. But I bought some Walmart stuff, Pittsburgh stuff, Craftsman stuff. And I ended up using those Craftsman sockets, like even after I like was able to build my tools back up, I still was using them. Yeah, Twiz, man. Because back then, like you gotta understand, you get like indoctrinated if you go through the process to become a tech. When I got out of high school, I lollygagged for like 2 years, and I was like, all right, you know, I got to do something. So I went to a 2 year college, and I did a 2 year college program, and I studied automotive technology and I took business. So finished the 2 year program, and throughout that process, you get indoctrinated into Snap-on. Snap-on comes to the school. They give you brochures. They give you free stuff. All the tools at school, Snap-on, Snap-on. That's all you see is Snap-on. You get out into the field as a rookie, Snap-on truck comes. They, they may even recognize you from the school where they did a demo. So all you know is Snap-on. You end up with a bunch of Snap-on, and that's what happened to me. All that stuff got jacked. All of it. I lost everything. Talk about hurt. It took. I was still paying on that stuff. I didn't even have it, and I was still paying on it. 50% off. Man, when'd you go to school? We didn't get 50% off. I think we had like, I don't know, maybe like 40% off. Yeah. Oh, five. Oh, okay. I went a little bit before you did. I went in around like oh 01. Bought 5 grand worth of tools that day. Yeah. I did. I went two places. Long Beach. You went to YOT. I went to Long Beach City College. So I started at Long Beach City College, and then I transferred from Long Beach City College because I'm from Southern California to Cosumnes River College here in Sacramento because the Long Beach program they stopped the automotive program completely. So I moved up to Consumers River College to finish, and I've been up here ever since because I got a job up here and just stayed up here ever since. Twiz said his training is from the Navy. Is from the Navy and the School of Hard Knocks. Hey, Twiz, I learned a lot from the School of Hard Knocks too. Trust me. Yeah, I went to CRC. I did like a year, less than a year in Long Beach City College, and then I did probably like a year and some change at CRC, Consumers River. Yeah, I went there. I know all those teachers up there. Small Road. One of the instructors there is one of my customers. I wonder who it is. Let's see. You got Mike Pereira. Who else is up there? And I can't remember. Jed said he learned everything from working in the freezing cold in Michigan. There was a guy, excuse me, there was a parts guy at AutoZone who used to always mess with me about, because he was from Michigan and he used to work like in the freezing cold. And he used to talk about how good we got it. And like, you don't know nothing about working in the freezing cold. Yeah, it sucks. But I mean, if I had to, I would have to. I'm glad I don't. Man, you know what I noticed about watching YouTube videos? and about guys who live in like the extremely cold weather compared to where me and Nick live. Man, you guys get hit with problems I ain't never seen in California. I like what all kind of weird, bizarre problems that I've never electrical as well as rust issues. I'll be watching these guys diagnose problems. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. How did that even happen? We don't have those kind of problems out here. Our repairs are straightforward, just like it wore out. Whatever the component was, it wore out. That's pretty much it. Hold on, guys. It's my wife. I'm on live. What's up? All right, that's fine. What? Yeah, that's fine. Just do that. All right. All right. Oh, anyway, something I gotta do. It's always something we gotta do. All right. Yeah, man. But back to you guys, the guys back east. I'll be looking at like Pine Hollow Auto Diagnostics. What's the other dude from New York? Not Erico from South Main Auto. What's the other dude? Uh, Nick DeFazio. I don't know. Yeah, New Level Auto. There you go. I see these guys with problems I never see here. I never see here in California. Like, you got to be kidding me. With the occasional Chrysler with bad computer problems, that's that's a given. But guys here that even the diagnosticians and stuff that I used to have come out to my shop, which I really didn't use that often because I could pretty much figure it out myself. I'm a pretty smart guy. But I see problems there I never see here, man. It's crazy. I'm like, all right. Keith DeFazio, he's a freaking wizard. Yeah, man, that dude spent a lot of time and effort in what he do. So that's good. Twist said he pulled transmissions and motors outside and it's snowing like hell. I mean, I'm not soft, man. If I have to get out there in the snow and pull a motor, I'd do it. I'm not soft, but I'm glad I don't have to do that. You know what I mean? Oh man, thank God it don't get that cold here. I guess me and Nick got it made. I guess. But yeah, and then all the rust issues. We did have one car. We did have one car where a guy came from New York, and it was like a brake job. Just your typical brake job, and it turned into a lot more than that, man. Because it was like everything was all crusty. I was like, dude, you need brake lines. These calipers gotta go. The brackets is like, I don't know what they turned into paper. They turned into like potato chips. The the brake pads, I had to use an air hammer to get them out. I was like, man, that was the hardest brake job I ever did in my life. But we ended up changing his rotors, calipers, brake lines, and of course pads. And his car came from New York. He drove it to out here to Sacramento. Oh, okay. Nick, you went fishing last week, Sierra Nevadas. Okay. Man, I haven't been that way in a really long time. I usually go the other way. I usually head down to like SoCal and do stuff down that way. But I've been there plenty. not a big fan of driving over to Sierra Nevada. That stretch of land is treacherous, man. Well, I don't know the title on this is. So, what's the general consensus before I get out of here? Is this the latest, greatest, or is this a fail? Oh man, in my opinion, it's a hard fail. It didn't have to be though. It could have been the latest and greatest. Yeah, do what Nick said. Nick gonna wait and see. He's gonna wait and see if they stick around before he invests a dime. That's the smart money is on what Nick said because like I stated earlier, you really don't know how long they're gonna be around. Oh boy. Well, guys, what time is it? It's 6:09 out here in California. As you know, my wife just called me. Of course, it's something I need to do. It always is. So I'm gonna have to cut this live short. Hey, check out my video before I get out of here, Nick. And let me know what you think. Drop a comment in that video and let me know what you think. Twiz, it's always a pleasure you stopping by. Everybody else that's in the chat, I see there's 17 people online. Even if you didn't say nothing in the chat, thanks for stopping by and checking the live out. Make sure you guys hit the like button, subscribe, all that good stuff. All right, guys, this is Brian 916 signing out. I'll see you guys on the next one.